Joy is not frivolous. Joy is both resistance and a reclamation. Hey family, welcome to your Lunar Energy Check-In for August 2025. If you're new here, this is where we explore the month's lunations and key astrology. We tune into how they're influencing us on a spiritual level, and we uncover what invitations they hold for us on our well-being journeys ahead. Now, usually I like to ease into the month with a vibe check, but this time it felt right to start by grounding into this lunar energy together. If you missed the announcement in the community tab, this month's theme here on the channel is Play for Keeps. This is a month where we're returning to and protecting joy, not just as resistance, but as prayer. And we're remembering that play too can be powerful, it can be sacred, and it can even be strategic. So let's dive right in. The energy surrounding this month's moons is heavy. We are still witnessing deep suffering, global unrest, systemic breakdowns, and for many of us, it stirred up a lot of fear, a lot of fatigue, a lot of deep sorrow and grief. And still, we're here. We are showing up for the work of feeling. We are healing and we're choosing joy, even when there's so much happening that weighs really heavily on the soul and the nervous system. I think so many of us in this moment are feeling cracked open, for a lack of better words, right? And weighed down by all of what we're feeling, what we're carrying. So many of us are even feeling too tired to dream and too overwhelmed to organize. This month's full moon in Aquarius on August 9th is a really sharp reminder that joy is not frivolous. Joy is not an escape. And as I often say here on this channel, joy is both resistance and a reclamation. And play, the free and unguarded kind, it can really be a portal back to our power. It's a way of saying, this world hasn't stolen everything from me. And this month's lunations are asking us to remember that right now. Now, I mentioned the Aquarius Full Moon that's coming up on August 9th, so let's unpack that first. Aquarius is the visionary. Aquarius is the rebel. Aquarius is the revolutionist, the communal genius. I feel like I'm just like tooting my own horn. I'm an Aquarius and I relate to all these things. When the moon is full in this sign, it ends up lighting up the tension between our individuality and our responsibility to the collective. Aquarius being highly independent, but also being quietly humanitarian, then asks, how can I radically be myself while showing up for something bigger than me? And I feel like this is a question that I'm constantly asking myself. It also asks, what outdated systems, relationships, or even technologies am I ready to radically change or release? And sidebar, hello AI. This is a moment where there have been a lot of talks around the ways that AI is really harming the environment. And so this moment really feels like a good time to assess or reassess our relationship with it. The third question that Aquarius asks is, how can joy itself become a tool of transformation, both for me and the worlds that I'm a part of? I cannot begin to emphasize enough how electric, disruptive, and clarifying this upcoming full moon is. But it also carries a deep tenderness and a need to tend to the burnout, the numbness, and the disconnection that can come with being so online in the way that we are in this social media age and so aware and so awake. Sometimes awareness becomes overload. And I think many of us can relate to this on a deeply personal level, right? When that happens, the invitation isn't to shut down, but to ground in. To say, even with all this happening, I'm allowed to hold joy. I'm allowed to remember that I'm still alive, that I'm still capable of pleasure, that I'm still worthy of peace. That act alone is a divine rebellion, and it is precisely the sort of rebellion that Aquarius wants to be involved in. You know, sometimes the most radical thing we can do is to laugh, to create, to remember that Joy and play are communal technologies that provide ways for us to weave light back into the dark. Now, it is also very important to note that just 2 days after this full moon in Aquarius, Mercury is stationing direct after being retrograde in Leo for the past few weeks. So, with Mercury retracing its steps in Leo, which is the sign of creative expression and authenticity and heart centered presence, this season may have stirred deeper questions beneath the surface, like, where have I been moving on autopilot? Where have I been shrinking my joy? Where have I been dimming my light or seeking approval in places that can't really see me, that can't fully see me? Mercury in Leo asks us to speak from the heart. But when it's retrograde, it reveals where our self expression has been distorted, whether it's been silenced or inflated. And it invites us to reclaim our voice from a place of truth and not performance. And that in and of itself is deeply sacred work, right? Because joy isn't performative. Joy is something that is embodied. Now, as Mercury begins to move forward on the 11th, we're not being called to rush. We're being called to integrate. We're still going to be in the shadow phase for the next couple of weeks after that. And we're going to be sort of retracing the terrain that we just traveled. So this moment is one of reflection, revision, reconnection. And it's a time to gently rework the systems, stories, and habits that either hold our joy or stifle it. Play doesn't thrive in chaos. Play thrives in rhythm, which is tough since the world feels like chaos right now. But because of the state of our present reality, it's even more vital that we find small ways to create stillness, that we find ways to create moments that feel like peace, even if it's just for a breath. Joy needs space to breathe. So before leaping ahead, I want to invite you to pause and sit with what may have come up for you during the retrograde and ask yourself what joy is trying to teach you and what patterns need to shift so that joy doesn't feel so far away. Mercury's invitation right now is to go slow enough to feel it all because joy is very much a practice, and this moment helps us to create more space for that. All that being said, as we close the month, we are being gifted with a soft but potent reset with the Virgo New Moon on August 22nd. Virgo energy is grounding, it's practical, it's precise. It reminds us that structure is a form of self respect. It reminds us that daily rituals are holy practices. It also reminds us that caring for your nervous system is activism. Virgo asks, what rhythms sustain me? How can I create more intention around my healing? And what within and around me needs tending gently, methodically, lovingly? What needs that right now? This new moon is especially supportive if you have been pouring from an empty cup. If your activism, caregiving, or even your creative work has left you feeling depleted, this is your moment to reset. This is your moment to remember that rest is part of the revolution, that joy is part of the medicine, and that softness, in some ways, is not a luxury. It can be a privilege for some, but generally speaking, softness is survival. So, if I can be real with y'all for a moment, I have had multiple days this year in particular where I just felt like joy was really hard to come by. And I caught myself spiraling like, how do I even begin to find joy when the world is in the state it's in right now? And I also started to wonder if the work I'm doing is worth it, if the work I'm doing is for nothing. But then I remembered something that I would often say to peers, which is that your joy doesn't cancel out your care. Your joy fuels it. And every time I remember that and I sit with that, it shifts something in me. Like it puts a battery in my back because when I'm grounded in joy, real joy, not the performative kind, I'm actually more resourced to show up for the world. I'm more relaxed. I'm less anxious. I'm able to hear my own thoughts more clearly and reconnect with my mission, reconnect with my why. I'm more creative. I'm more compassionate. And honestly, I'm more playful. I take myself way less seriously. And I find moments to let the sunshine back in, so to speak. Play softens the edges. It brings me back to my breath. It reminds me that I'm still here and I still get to live, which I think is a very important reminder for those of us who live at the intersection of multiple marginalized identities, right? I'm Black, I am a woman, I am queer, and moments of softness and peace and joy are not easily allotted to me. And so we have to claim and reclaim those moments for ourselves. If you've been feeling like you've lost touch with your joy, I just want you to know that you haven't. It's still there waiting for you. And this month's energy is here to help you return to it. So, on that note, as we move through this lunar cycle, I want to give you a few invitations to keep close. I want to name that these practices aren't necessarily here to solve anything, but they provide ways to soften into rhythm again. And they provide ways to root yourself in the joy that's still possible, even when the world feels chaotic. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and maybe you return to them over the next few weeks as little reminders. To start, here's a journal prompt. Where does joy live in my body? And what kind of play helps me remember it? You don't need to write a long entry. I just really want to invite you to sit with the question more than anything else. And if you can, see if you can let your body answer it for you. Let an image or a memory float up and just let yourself be surprised. Create a joy altar. For this, I want to invite you to just choose a little corner of your space for cultivating joy. It can literally be a corner of your room or a table or a shelf, and maybe you place something on it like a flower or a candle or even a souvenir or an item from a trip that made you feel free. It can be a quote that makes you laugh. It can be a piece of fruit. It can be a seashell. I have so many shells on my altar space from my trips to the beach because seashells remind me of going to the beach in my childhood. So there's no right way to do this. Just gather what feels good to you and gather what reminds you that joy is yours to claim. Movement and stillness. Check in with your body. Does your body want to move? Does it want to stretch? Does it want to sway? Does it want to shake away the tension? Or does it want to be still? Does it want to rest? Does it want to lie down, to breathe deeply into the belly? Both are sacred. And the intention here is to really just allow joy to speak through sensation and not just words. Gentle connection. Reach out to someone who brings light into your world. Send them a meme, send them a song, send them a voice note with no purpose. Joy is communal, and sometimes it just needs to be witnessed to expand. Community meditation. Gathering with others, whether it's in person or online, can be such a powerful balm. And I speak from experience as someone who has facilitated group meditation sessions both in person and online. You can host a short meditation gathering. You can join a group ritual that feels nourishing to you. Even just 10 minutes of shared intention can remind your nervous system that you're not alone. Inner child's joy break. Ask yourself, what did I love doing when I was younger? Just for the fun of it. And then give yourself 10 minutes to do that thing with no judgment. You can blow bubbles, you can color, you can dance to your favorite throwback jam, you can lay on the floor with your pet, you can watch silly TikToks. Whatever it is, whatever you choose, just let it be nonsensical, let it be silly, just let yourself be free in that moment. Digital boundaries for your spirit. Aquarius energy, being so tied to technology, can pull us into the digital spiral. It can leave us scrolling and refreshing and trying to know it all at all times. But your spirit was not built for constant consumption. Mute accounts that drain you. Block people if you have to. Set time limits when you're on your phone. Just try to create pockets of silence. I know that sometimes sitting in silence can be hard, but the truth is that joy is much easier to access when your system feels safe and when you slow down. And sometimes safety looks like putting your phone down. Voice note for future you. Record a voice note to your future self. Don't overthink it. Let it be simple. Let it be authentic. Let it be honest. You can say something like, even in this heavy world, I have made space for joy. I have loved. I have remembered. I have returned. And just let your own voice become your altar. Not only can this act as a reminder of what you've already survived, but it also reminds you what you still have the power to create. You can pick one, you can pick three, you can skip them all and return to them later. Again, there is no right way to do this. What matters most is that you are listening to what you need and allowing joy to meet you there. So, to seal off the transmissions of this month, I do want to offer one more way for us to connect with this month's energy by pulling a card from my tried and true, my very trusted Moonology Oracle deck. Now, full disclosure, as I was getting ready to shoot this part of the video, my camera overheated. And so I had to turn it off and my battery was dying. So I swapped the battery and then I took it upon myself to go ahead and begin feeling into the energy. I shuffled and I did get a message. So the card that came out was Super Moon. Emotions are running high. And I feel like this speaks to the collective moment we're in, right? With so much happening around the world, we are in climate crisis. There are people and children starving. Life in the US has been a circus. We don't need to name why, but there is a lot going on, and emotions are quite literally running high. There have been a lot of actions organized, especially in LA, not just this summer as families were being torn apart, but even earlier this year in the wake of the devastating fires that swept across the area and people just coming together to raise aid and relief for the people who were affected. But when I pulled this card, I also felt sort of an excitement, like something better and stronger than we could ever imagine is around the corner. I think about all the work that activists and organizers and community leaders are doing on the ground and in their communities, and how beautiful of a future we could have with this momentum. How powerful we are, and how possible it is to co create this new world, this new earth that we've all been working toward. If we look at the booklet, the meaning of this card is if you want affirmation that you can achieve your dreams and get the desired outcome in this situation you're asking about, then this is it. This is a card of beginnings, and there are powerful energies at work, but be prepared. It could be quite a ride, and events now can be jarring or even uncomfortable. And if that is not like the perfect summary of what this year has been, I don't know what is. It says, however, any new directions you take will almost always lead somewhere better than where you are at the moment. Whatever is happening now is happening for a reason you'll appreciate later on. A new portal is opening up. You're being put back on the right path. There is nothing to fear. At the bottom of the deck was expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. So this is the energy kind of pulsing through the overall message, right? And if you look at how this new moon is illustrated, it looks like that light beaming from the back of it, like it's just waiting to burst out. Like I feel like that is the new earth getting ready to pop out, and you know how the Kendrick song goes. this is powerful and it is ready, but we've just got to keep co-creating. We've got to stay true to the vision. We can't keep up, or we can't give up. We can't keep up. Why did that come to me? There's something I say in this month's vibe check about the pressure to stay plugged in, to stay online, to stay in the know and tapped into everything that's happening and respond to everything that's happening. And I feel like that's where the can't keep up just slipped out. It's not realistic. We can only do what we can do with the capacity that we have. And I think part of maintaining that capacity, maintaining our fire, it's not only finding moments to rest and recalibrate, but also finding moments for joy, finding moments to surrender, to just enjoying life, enjoying the people around us, and remembering that even though the chaos feels so insurmountable, there is more. This isn't the end. This isn't it. And this isn't all that it has to be. For this card, the booklet says, this card suggests that the answer to whatever you're asking is writ large like the silvery full moon set against the velvety night sky. Oh, you know what? I just realized I read you the description for the new moon eclipse first. So if we go back to the booklet, the teaching for the supermoon says, a supermoon is a new or full moon that takes place when the moon is at its closest point to the Earth during its monthly orbit. An event known as perigee. Perigee? Perigee? Am I pronouncing that correctly? I gotta Google it. But don't come for me. If it's a full moon, the moon appears around 14% bigger at this time. The moon is known as the queen of emotions, and if you draw the supermoon card, regardless of when you do this, you can expect your feelings to be more highly charged. So yeah, it's speaking to this highly charged collective moment that we're in. But something that was also coming through with these cards, perhaps on a more personal level, there are some of you out there who have been going through hell, for a lack of better words. And I think right now in this moment, despite the chaos and the turbulence happening around the world, you can see like little glimmers of light where things are beginning to shift for you. And I think you're realizing that the challenges and struggles that you've been going through have all been a part of your journey. And things are really about to take a turn. There's going to be a very powerful shift, a very powerful change in your life. But you need to hold on. And wow, as I said that, I looked down and underneath this card is hold your vision. You've just got to stay true to your vision, because there are going to be moments where you kind of fall back into the feeling you once had, where you were just kind of like, what's the point of all this, right? Similar to me. And the emotions will run high, but better is coming. So I don't know who that message is for, but that came through as well. I want to sincerely thank you for being here with me today. And if no one has told you, your joy matters. I want you to know that today and every day. And your joy matters not in spite of the world burning, but because of it. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel good. You are allowed to live. Living is our lifeline. And you are allowed to play, not just when the world is light, but because it feels heavy. So this month, let's play for keeps and claim joy like we mean it. If what we've explored today resonated with you and you want to deepen this journey through meditation and ritual, I invite you to check out the Guided Resets and Rituals playlist for more support, or you can work with me one-on-one. Links to do so are down in the description. Take care, my loves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.